Hi, and welcome to I've Been Thinking, where it is our goal to show and grow a passion for studying God's Word by helping with tips and techniques for better Christian living. I think every Christian wants to pray and wants to pray well. When we think of Jesus, he showed a regular habit of going out early in the morning and praying. And I've often thought if the Lord God himself needs to get off by himself and pray, I certainly need to do that. But it's always been tough. It's always been tough to focus. And I'll wake up in the morning and I'll get busy with emails and busy with things, and all of a sudden I have forgotten to pray. But we are commanded to pray. It says in 1 Thessalonians 5:17, there's a command to pray without ceasing. So as a result, I throughout the day will move in and out of conversations with Jesus and just have an ongoing relationship of communication with him. But I'm not talking about that kind of prayer. I'm talking about praying for our brothers and sisters, praying for people that have asked for prayer. So in today's video, I want to very quickly go through a tool of how Google helps me pray and helps me pray consistently and better. You know, it's bad when we tell our friend that we'll pray for them if they've asked for prayer, or if there's a situation in their life where our response is, hey, I'll pray for you. And then we forget to write it down, or we write it down and then we forget where we wrote it down. There's a real issue with consistent quality prayer in the modern believer's life. And that's what this quick tutorial is going to be about. How Google helps me with that. Now, this isn't going to be a tutorial about Google, and specifically about Google Calendar, because that's what I'm going to share about today. There are plenty of great Google Calendar tutorials out there on YouTube. And in fact, in the description below, I'll put a couple of good ones that I recommend that are just good general tutorials. And that's not what I wanted to do today. What I wanted to do today is very quickly show you how I use Google Calendar to help me pray better. I want to share how Google helps me pray first thing in the morning, every morning, and how it reminds me of what to pray for, who to pray for, and keeps me focused as I pray. Keep watching, and we're going to go step by step into Google's assistance in our prayer life. Since Google has been helping with the Google Calendar tool, I've never been more consistent in my prayer and more focused in my prayer life. It is a tool that I've used, that I am using, and I'm going to show you examples of what I am using today, and hopefully it will be a blessing to you. So let's get started. I'm going to open up my calendar. This is my monthly calendar. And it basically goes through a whole bunch of things. Now, I want to tell you that there's a difference between an appointment, an event in your calendar that has a specific day and a specific time of day, and an event that is an all-day event. And Google treats it differently. And that's what I want to go in today, how to use an all-day event as a prayer list. And to go into that, this is the view of the monthly view. Let's open it up full screen. There you go. This is the monthly view. If you go up into this section, you can see a daily view. You can see any number. I'm not going to get too close here because I want to protect the privacy of the people that I'm praying for. But here is a schedule view up here that gives you the schedule for the day. And you'll notice over here, and I've got some of this redacted, but you'll notice over here I have these all-day events, and then I have an appointment. And on Sunday, I have these all-day events, and then I have church service, streaming. And then I have all-day events on a Monday all-day events. That's my prayer list. And then I have events happening. So we're gonna talk about how to do this. And I want to do that very quickly by hitting the create button. If I go to create button in my calendar, and I'll say in the calendar, pray for, and I'll put XYZ Jones, and I might put a general prayer list like ministry. Now, I hit the event button, and then I come down here and I hit where it says all day. Now that's an all day event that is now on my prayer list. And it says pray for this person and their ministry on that day. I'll show you more details in a second, but that's on my prayer list. Now, if I want to repeat that, I'll go here and say, does not repeat or repeats daily. Now, let's say they said, hey, I got a job interview on Tuesday. Please pray for me Tuesday at 9:30. I would put the specific day and the time, pray at 9:30 for that day. So I could say, does not repeat. On this day, I would write up here, I would say, job interview. And I would say on Saturday the 12th, all day on Saturday the 12th, because that's a prayer. I don't want to necessarily pray. I could say pray at 9:30. But I don't want to get bogged down with my schedule and miss this. So I'll say at 9:30 a.m. So I might pray at 7:30 a.m. for an event that's going to happen at 9:30. And that's fine. I want to support that person in prayer. Now, I go down here to more options because I want to see more details. And I usually put my prayer requests in green. You can put it in any color you want. But I add a description down here. So he's got a job interview. He thinks he's overqualified, but needs the job. Okay? You can put anything. And I'll show you some examples of that in the description. And then you hit for, let's say this is for the 12th, and I hit save. Now, there it is right there. Because I put a time, 9:30 to 10:30, pray for Jones. Now, if I would go back here, let me go back. And if I would have put, instead of putting the day, or putting time, I would have said all day, and put that same prayer request and hit save. Here's what shows up. It shows up in the all day thing for pray for XYZ Jones job description. If I hit on that, it gives me right here in the description details of specifically what to pray. I'm going to show you what this is. So let's say I've done a bunch of prayer requests and I've added them as we go along. I've added them for specific things. If it's, let's say I wanted to pray for XYZ Jones, and I wanted to pray every day until further notice. I do that for some people that are supporters of mine, for example. I'll just pray every day for them. So you go up here and say, where it says all day, does not repeat, you hit repeat, and you repeat daily. And you say save. And now, every single day on my prayer list, first thing in the morning, I'll get a notification to pray. Now, how that notification comes is you go to Google and you go to notifications and you have it email you your calendar every morning. And it'll come as an email. So when I'm clearing off emails, first thing I see is your Google Calendar events for the day. I open that and it's got that set. Now, the other thing I do is I go up to schedule for that day and I hit schedule and I go to the gear and I say print, and it says print the schedule for the 12th and the schedule for the 13th, or excuse me, to the 15th. But I can go back and say, no, I just want the 12th. So I'm printing from the 12th to the 12th, and I'm printing right down here. I'm saying I'm printing with the print descriptions. That gives me the prayer details. And I say print, and it gives me my details, which I'm going to redact here in this video. And I can hit print, and I get a hard copy for the next day. And first thing in the morning, I have a hard copy. If I don't get to that hard copy, the email will remind me to. And that's how Google helps me pray. The other problem I have that I want to show you is how Google helps me to focus my prayers. Very often I get that email to pray, but as I'm praying, when I close my eyes and that sort of thing, my mind is wandering all over the place. I'm thinking about lunch. I'm thinking about all kinds of stuff, and I'm trying to pray for a specific person, for a specific thing for that person, and I want to be able to stay focused. And this is how Google has helped me. Let me show you. Here is a typical, this is what I print from the night before. Remember, either it emails me or I'll print it, the schedule for the night before. And this is how it comes up. Now, I've taken people's names out to keep them private, but I'm going to show you. So for somebody's anniversary, I'll pray for their marriage. I'll pray for their relationship, if they're newlyweds or if they've been married a long time. I'll pray for specifics, and I might just scribble something. I'll pray and praise for somebody, for a specific person. I praise for our relationship, for us and our friendship. I pray blessing on them, and I pray encouragement on them in this difficult times, whatever they're going through. And that just helps me remember, helps me focus by scribbling. These are not notes to remember later. These are notes just to keep my mind engaged with what I'm praying, and it really has helped me. Here I'm praying for somebody who's pregnant, and I'm praying for their baby. I'm praying for worry in their life. They've had some miscarriages, and I'm praying for that. I'm praying for the growth and health of the baby. Praying for that the weight of the mother is good, and that the weight of the baby grows and is good. I'm praying for a whole staff of people. This is a whole bunch of people at a church, for wisdom for that church, for growth of ministry, for protection at this during this COVID problem, for encouragement of ministry when they're trying to go on online and stream live and have people be blessed and ministered to. Now I'm praying for for one of the guys who asked me to pray about it. His mother-in-law lost her husband, his father-in-law, and she's grieving and she's not eating well. And he's asked me to pray. This helps me. And so I've just done a grieving and not eating, and for other people, his ministry in small groups, other staff members, that he is very busy. And I'm praying for his wife and a prayer request for his wife. You see how it just helps you focus. And the descriptions help you focus. Here's another church I'm praying for, another staff, a whole list here. And I pray for the pastors of this church for wise leadership and strength. One of their guys, his kids are going back to school and he's a little concerned. He's also asked me to pray that the love of Christ would grow in him during his ministry tenure. And that's a great prayer. So I pray for that. Another guy I'm praying for his ministry. He's making some decisions about his ministry, what to do in the church, what not to do in the church, and some ministry needs of the church. I'm praying for that. I'm just scribbling things down. I'm praying for the tech of the church, that the sermon and everything online would work well and there'd be edifying, that there not be any glitches in the sound system or in the tech. Another guy is having a health problem, praying for his blood work and for the results. I'm just saying for this blood work and for the results, and Lord, heal him. And he teaches a small group, so help him in the ministry of his small group. Another person I'm praying for with health issues and the doctors and personal problems with their mom and dad and that sort of thing. And they're supporters of ours, so I'm praying for their generosity. And then I thought of somebody else completely, so I just jot a name down, pray that they would be blessed and discipled. Praying for another guy who's working at home, praying that he helps focus as he works at home and as he works in the church in his ministry, and for his generosity as a supporter. And that's just a glimpse of how this list helps me, by engaging in it with a pen, helps me focus through an entire prayer time. And I might pray for 20 minutes, 30 minutes on these specific things that Google has helped to remind me of. I hope that has been a blessing to you, and I hope that has helped you. I'd love to hear in your comments what you struggle in your prayers. Not just prayer comments in general, but what do you struggle with? How did you overcome it? Maybe there's some ways of that you pray that you have found that really helps you focus. I'd love to hear those comments. God bless you, and we will see you in another I've Been Thinking video.